but never has the opening line of "sending the clowns" been so appropriate. When these Republicans begging for Hunter Biden's testimony, get it, and now they say they don't want it publicly. Isn't it rich? White clowns.
Jimmy Kimmel nailed it. Jimmy Kimmel nailed it. You know, if he testifies in public, they can't make it up behind closed doors. So here's Hunter Biden's deal. He goes to the Congress, he responds to the Congress, to the committee, and says, you know, yeah, I'll testify in public. You can put me under oath, ask me anything you want. Ask me anything. And I'll reply in public, in front of TV cameras. Let's go. Let's get it done. And what happens, predictably, because there are a bunch of frauds on the committee, oh, no, we can't do that. We have to close the doors so we literally can make stuff up when we leave the committee room and speak to Fox News.
Can't see it. They don't want the public to see this, Mike. What does that say?
Their version.
They you know, it's like Colonel Jessup or whatever in A Few Good Men. They can't handle the truth. That's their problem. Yeah. They can't handle the truth. It goes against the narrative that they've established and tried to establish every day for months and months and months. Congressman Comer especially. I mean, some of the things he says on TV are absolutely just fraudulent. He makes it up, and he can't make it up if it's in public, and we all watch it.
But Jen, Hunter called their bluff. Yeah. He said, okay, I'll come testify, but I want everybody to hear it. Now they've backpedaled. But also, this committee hasn't even pretended it has anything on Joe Biden himself, which ultimately is their goal, to find the head of the Biden crime family, as they call it, implicated in some great scandal. James Comer keeps saying, well, we got a lot of smoke, which they've created. They're billowing smoke into the room.
Which they're creating in their back
But no
room.
Fire. They're not even pretending they have evidence that Joe Biden did something.
I mean, this is what happens when MAGA runs into reality. Like you see it in courtrooms where grand juries have handed back indictments to indict the former president. You see it. The best example, I think, probably what they're scared of, it was 2015, October 2015, Hillary Clinton testifying before the Benghazi committee. Whoops. The 11 best hours of the presidential campaign. You know, she's just like, what else do you have? That's what they're scared of, and they have from it's been going on for almost 10 years, from the Benghazi hearings to the special counsel that Trump appointed that looked at Hillary's emails for 5 years at the Justice Department, to what Comer is trying to concoct in these hearing rooms. Is they're trying to manufacture falsehoods that they think will help them politically, and they can't actually ever get it over the line.
And I'll tell you what, there's also this element of this, which is a little bit of a political high wire act with Hunter Biden, right? You know, you've read these stories. We've all talked about him over the last few months, where when you read these stories, Hunter Biden's going on offense. You know, Abby Lowell and Hunter Biden going on offense. So, and the White House kind of going, oh, you know, we'd rather not have that. Yeah, okay, where, the president loves his son, but, how about like not going on offense? How about just staying quiet? And so to call the bluff is a dramatic gesture. I'm going to go in and do this, get on national television. And could you imagine a better, it's not just that he, going in and performing well would be a huge triumph, but even better, which is to watch the committee kind of back away in the way that they have now. And expose themselves. The committee has no clothes here. The emperors have no clothes. And for the Biden campaign, it must be, and the White House must be a little bit of a moment of like, well, maybe Hunter Biden and Abby Lowell know what they're doing. Maybe they went on offense because they knew or suspected that this would be the outcome.
And it always feels better when you're controlling the situation. Sure. When you have agency and you're taking action and you're like they did. And I think Hunter testifying, Mika noted, most of the things, like we've heard everything before because he's written about in his books, he's done interviews, him sitting at this witness table and Republican members of Congress giving him a hard time about these very difficult things in his life, like that is not going to be good for him.
The book is just if you think about what's in the book, it's just hard to imagine, other than like Mike Barnichel's autobiography, it's hard to imagine anything more horrifying than the things he's already admitted to in that book. And so what could happen on the stand in the committee room?
The thing that the committee should be most afraid of is that Hunter has done damage to himself. Okay, the self-inflicted damage that Hunter has done to himself is awful, and he will cop to it. He will talk about it. The damage he has done to himself, I'm sure, is quite familiar to a whole host of families in this country.
Of course. And this is another moment where Republicans have
talked themselves into a corner. They have promised for so long to go after Hunter Biden, to go after this so-called Biden crime family, that they have forced their hand. Their base demands this. And if they want to ward off primary challenges from those further to their right, they have to deliver this, even if it ends up blowing up in their faces. Because they'll accuse them of like, well, this was rigged. They'll come up with an excuse why it didn't work. They feel like they have to try.
And remember, guys, a couple of star witnesses. One, a business partner of Hunter Biden's. He showed up and said, well, didn't really do anything with the president. He put him on speakerphone at dinner a couple of times, but they never talked about business. And the other star witness, Joe, you'll remember, I think is still on the lam.
Yes.
The guy who's an agent of the Chinese government, a Middle Eastern arms dealer or something like that.
Yes.
That was a star witness who just vanished, and I think they're still looking for him.
Jets starting quarterback.
And they tried to make a scandal out of that.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, we find out the reason he's vanished. He's an international fugitive, illegal arms dealer. He sold Iranian oil, smuggled it illegally to the communist Chinese. Like, this is Comer's star witness. This is the Republican Party's star witness. I do want to underline, though, and for Republicans who have ears to hear, because this is what Republicans, Mika, have overlooked from the start of this Hunter Biden hunt that they're on, to try to find something to attack him. Mike Barnicle just said every family, or most families, have a situation, maybe not just like Hunter Biden, but a situation where they don't want their children attacked publicly. They look at Joe Biden as a father and say, you got problems with Joe Biden, go after Joe Biden, leave the kids alone. For the most part, that's the case. They still don't understand that in that first debate when Donald Trump attacked Hunter Biden, attacked Joe Biden's son, they don't understand how much that backfired. There were conservative, hardcore, right-wing, pro-Trump conservatives whose articles I read, whose columns I read after that, who were outraged that Donald Trump went after another man's child.
You know, voters know Joe Biden, and that's the problem here. To your point, every family knows or struggles with mental health challenges, or knows someone who has struggled and suffered, as Hunter has, and has done things that are against their core values. Every family is struggling in some way. Another thing voters are, many of them, parents. And when you go after Joe Biden's son, as you pointed out, the reason why it was such a turnoff is because it not only was it his son, it was his remaining son. Like, how sick can you be? Especially when you don't have any evidence. And by the way, at this point, with people like Marjorie Taylor Greene putting up pictures of Hunter Biden that she scraped off the internet or whatever at his worst moments, I mean, what more does he have to lose than to go out there and say, okay, hit me?
Well, again,
come on, ask me anything at this point, you fools. And so they've called him out on it. The other thing is, going after Hunter Biden is going after Joe Biden's remaining son. Good luck with that. Didn't work very well last time. And remember, it's Joe Biden's son. It's not Joe Biden, as opposed to Trump, who has 4 indictments against him and $250 million civil suits and rape allegations.
The bottom line here is what Republicans need to understand is this backfires against them. It backfired against Donald Trump.
Because it's cruel.
Backfiring against them. They can keep doing it if they want to. If they want to help Joe Biden, if they want to make Joe Biden more of a sympathetic figure, they can keep doing it. But it doesn't work. That's the bottom line.